you having a good day? This is a little Ficus Microcarpa cutting that I actually put in this pot with a rock back around December of 2018. This December, I say this December, obviously December 2021, I took and really did, a first really hard prune on it, put some wire on it. I did do a video on that. I'll include that link in the description. And then I also came back in January. When I wired that, I kind of left the growing tips just to keep it nice and flexible. And I came back and I cut all the growing tips off in January. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that now if you want. All right, and so here we are, January 11th. Anyhow, I cleaned up the inside and got some wire on there. And I had said that I was going to let all these leaves kind of stay on there. And, or not leaves, but growing tips, just to kind of let it grow out into it a little bit. And the plan was I was going to cut all this longer growth off now and let it really bite into that wire a little bit more. And so that's what I'm going to do. See, really has done a pretty good job growing plenty. And go ahead and pull these weeds out. And that's just about it. You can see there was these two lower branches here I was planning on wiring. And I did prune that all the way off. And you can see they have like the really small growth growing there. And then this was also right there. It was a branch that I had broken when I was wiring it. I said something, on the video or whatever. And, it had plenty of growth growing up there. As a matter of fact, this one had like 3 branches there. I left all that growth there to try to heal it. And then it's got a little bud right there. And so that'll help with the healing too. Anyway, we'll go back to the present. And then here we are now back. And, you can see that it's recovered from that quite a bit. Of course, here it is. What is it, June 1st today. So, of course, it's recovered quite a bit from pruning in January. Alright, first things first. Take care of some of this really superfluous growth. Alright, so I'm going to pause here and take this wire off. Alright, so I took a little pause while I was pruning there just to get the wire off. I'm not going to talk while I work here, but I would like to just kind of point out that it'll be a little easier to, for you guys to really even see, but this first branch is really small coming off the trunk. And then, I got some wire, or, I guess I had some wire on that one, so now this one has some movement. But then, up above from that is an even thicker branch that I was able to get some movement on too. And then it kind of actually goes into what would be kind of the apex here, which is then falling over the rock. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pop it out from the rock today, just so I can get an even better look at it and just see, if I'm kind of wasting my time, I might have to cut this thing back to nothing and just let it start over again. I didn't have any wire on those branches there, or on these lower ones. And I kind of had that planned all along to just go ahead and cut those way back. Once I get it up on the rock or out of there, I could go for something like this. This was one of the first cuttings I ever took and threw in with a rock. I may be wasting my time altogether and just wind up taking it off and using the root spread as to make some kind of nabari there. And again, as I go through making some of these pruning decisions, you'd like to think, I'll get the top growth or the bottom growth, but depending on the angle I make and everything else, it's really hard to tell what's going to be the top or whether it'll turn out to be kind of a side branch. That is, if you go back to the first video or even just the video in January that I just showed you guys, That's where I broke that while I was wiring it. And while this branch isn't at the current angle, it isn't a very good spot at all. If I could save some of that growth right by that break there. Although, once I change angles, I may decide to go ahead and lose this branch altogether anyhow. And it had a lot of growth going out there at the very end. Take that whole thing off. The idea that I had always had for this was that I'd leave it in here until it got big enough to almost break the pot or whatever. It was just this cutting that I just kind of set in there. And now at this point, it's been 3 years and it's almost looking like it's kind of straightened itself up some. I just want to take a look at it and really decide if it's even worth my time anymore. Well, that was a ton easier than I thought that would be. One thing I didn't even realize / remember is that's actually got a screen in there. Might be really lucky that I didn't think I'd been using them yet at that point when I made this. I might be kind of lucky I didn't wait any longer. Well, the amazing part of, I don't know what I was thinking at the time is it actually looks like I didn't even put the screen in the pot. It looks like I screened just the rock. Maybe I was thinking I could separate those away from each other, and I don't think I, separate the ball of roots below the screen and the ball of roots that were actually on the rock. All right, so let me get... Now, it does look that a couple of these got really long and got to the edge of where that screen was. And then kind of wrapped and wrapped and wrapped. Some more pieces of that screen. All right, and I took a second there. I decided that, that was the original look. That was the original angle. The original soil line was right about here. and I had let these two branches go because they were getting arrow roots. But if I go with that angle there, it is just a tree. It's not even a root over a rock, it's a tree next to a rock. And so I'm going to have to do like an angle like that. And so that's going to make those branches make no sense. So I will be taking them off, and then I am going to go ahead and just try to work, you know, I mean, this root circles it. I want it to keep a hold of it, but I'd like to get it a little bit of a better angle down here. And usually with my root over rocks, like once you start working a little bit, I just feel it just a little loose on the rock, and so I wanted to have the pot ready to go, because as soon as I feel that, I'll go ahead and put it in here and then just finish cleaning it up, because there's already some soil in there. I can kind of finish cleaning it up while I finish backfilling it. That all had to go. That root was actually in the rock. This branch, that's the one that I broke. But I was proud to be able to regrow it and have it heal up that scar, but now that makes it to where that's coming right out of the bottom. I do want to hit that guy with my knob cutters. I'm not going to worry about going right up against the trunk just because there is a root popping out there. It's an aerial root coming right off of that, and then this one too. I would like to save that part as a little bit of a over the rock kind of a thing. All right, a lot more dirt under it than I thought there was. Up under it. Need to go down quite a bit deeper than it was. Alright, so here's where we're at. There was a bigger ring of topsoil under it than I thought there would be. And so I had to put a little more, even the substrate under it to even get the right angle that I was looking for there. And of course, now that I've got that in there, that guy can't stay. And then I finished backfilling it there. I used like a combination of this stake that was in a houseplant that I got and my American chopstick here. I don't want to do anything other than just get some of the kind of the fibrous peat up out of there. It's going to disturb a few roots. And then I can just kind of drag it right off the top of that soil. I don't really mind if a little bit of organic kind of gets mixed in. And then on this side here, you can see I brought over the two aerial roots. Now they're going to be on that side of the rock. I really hope, I think the one that's connected to the trunk is definitely going to live. The one that's connected to that little stump I left there may not. But only time will tell. And I already knew a couple of these roots sticking up are going to have to go anyway. So there's that root there with a little, there's still some organic soil under there. But I'm going to go ahead and just let that ride for a minute. I want that to live, and I'd like for it to think it up a little bit before I take out any more. And being on top of that, a little bit of organic stuff there will help that. Alright, so I believe I've done enough for the day. I took and misted it. Probably see the rock just a little bit better. Got that one main root coming there with some other little feelers coming down. This one has the main root there. I left a little bit of organic stuff under that. This one is more damaged than I thought it was once I started cleaning it up. But there's also plenty of that organic stuff under there. And I can see a couple other little feeders under it. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll take over and thicken some. Right about in here, this, you know, I say main root. This is actually the main root here. But it does start separating from the rock just a little. It is still kind of curved up under there. But the plan is now to leave it in here for a bit. And I did decide, I was able to get that movement out of this guy here. But since I cut everything else back so far, this one just seems really out of place now. This is just a root. That's kind of actually where the substrate started at, was right about there. And that was just a root that was sticking up. That nothing would have became of that.